We play and call it work.
Hey there guys, Quirk here from MiniWarGaming.com to give you another episode of The Breakdown. I'm here today with Nick.
What's up?
And we have something very special for you. We're going to be doing a full breakdown of the new Space Wolves.
For us!
There you go. Yeah, we got some excitement going. So yeah, we're going to be playing 2,000 points. We're going to be doing the last mission in the Nova Open 2017 Premiere Packet. And you're going to be bringing your Space Wolves. I'm going to bring in some Custodies because I haven't brought them in a little while. I think it's a good matchup, right? You know, tons of bodies versus a couple of league guys. See what happens.
Hopefully a lot of close combat.
Please no.
Wolves win, hopefully.
Hope not. So in this video, guys, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the two lists that we're bringing, going through them unit by unit in extreme detail, going over their special abilities, their rules or stats, how they interact with one another, and what Nick's plan is for his army to be done in the mission, as well as what I'm going to be doing with the Custodies in this mission.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to try and deal with all your new stuff because you got some pretty cool new stuff. So
Fun
yeah.
stuff.
One thing before we go ahead and jump to the army showcases, a quick reminder, anybody out there who's interested in coming to MiniWarGaming, don't forget to go to miniwargaming.com/challenge for all the details. We'd love to have you in here rolling some dice, and we treat you to free food. Like, you got lunch for free.
I did. It was chicken fingers. Love them.
Pretty good right there.
For us!
All right, let's go ahead and check out these armies. Starting off this breakdown, we're going to take a look at Nick's Space Wolves. Now, these guys are really cool to start off with, but on top of all of that, with this new codex, they get abilities from Warriors of the Fang, and the first one they're going to get there is And They Shall Know No Fear, where you can re-roll failed morale tests for this unit. And you have a couple different things, like your Warlord trait, relics, and stuff like that, that can also mitigate it. But for the most part, just having that built-in rule, all in all, is quite handy. Yes. Now, I think most of your units are, like, 6 and 7 strong. 5. And then you got some 7 guys in there, so it's kind of, odds are, unless I like wipe out a unit down to a man, you don't have to worry about failing those morale checks, but it's still nice to have that little thing in there as well. And then on top of that, we also have the abilities from Armies of Asahim. Okay, thank you. I don't know how to read.
That's okay.
With this, you're going to get Defenders of Humanity. This allows your Infantry, Bikers, Cavalry, and Dreadnoughts to have the objective secured ability. So if there's just them on the objective, then they get it, unless another model has the objective secured ability, in which case it goes by total models within range of the objective.
Very powerful for them now.
You also have Hunters Unleashed. So in any turn in which a unit with this ability made a charge move, was charged, or made a heroic intervention, you can add 1 to its hit rolls in the fight phase. In addition, characters with this ability can perform a heroic intervention if the enemy has completed all of their charge moves and there are enemies within 6 inches of them. They can move 6 inches when performing the heroic intervention, as long as they move closer to the nearest enemy model. This is actually quite cool because it doubles the range in which you're able to do your heroic interventions, which means it's going to be a little bit harder for me to kind of get away from your characters or do those charges that avoid your characters, which is quite nice right there. As a whole, you've got a couple different units in here. We've got Logan Grimnar, we've got your Wolfen, a couple of Wolf Riders, few, I think those are just Intercessors?
Yeah, Intercessors and Hellblasters.
Alright, and then we've got a couple of Terminators and your Rune Priest, is that what it is?
Wolf Priest.
Wolf Priest.
And then 1 squad of Grey Hunters.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and take a look at all these guys individually, starting off with Logan Grimnar.
Yes. So
Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider. Now, Logan Grimnar does have a deteriorating stat line because he has actually more than 10 wounds. So starting off, your movement value is going to go from 10, then drop down to 7 and 4. Weapon skill, Blitz skill of 2+, Strength 4, Toughness 6, 12 wounds, 5 attacks, Leadership 9, and a 2+ armor save. That's really cool right there. Going to be equipped with the Stormbolter as well as the Axe of Morkai, which is a either one-handed or two-handed. If you go one-handed, it's Strength +2, -3 D3 damage, or you can go two-handed where Strength ×2, AP -3, and 3 damage, but you're at -1 to hit with that. On top of that, you've also got your Stormbolter, which is a 24-inch range, rapid-fire 2, Strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage gun. Again, rapid-fire means that with you're within half range, so 12 inches, you're going to be able to get those 4 shots in instead of 2, and with a movement value of 10, probably not going to be too difficult for you to pull that one off. So that's kind of cool right there. Also, since you've got 2 wolves carrying this chariot, they're obviously able to attack at Strength 5, -1, 1 damage, and after Logan Grimnar attacks in close combat, the 2 wolves are able to make a number of attacks equal to what's shown on the damage chart, and it goes from 6 to 5 to 4, so they're going to have a ton of attacks coming in. Abilities that he has, And They Shall Know No Fear, rerolling those morale checks. Doesn't really make sense for a single model to be able to reroll morale checks, but there are obviously certain spells and abilities and things like that that can force it, so the fact that you're able to reroll a morale check does come in handy. You also have Alpha Predators, where you can reroll failed charge rolls for this model. He has the Belt of Rust, giving him a 4 vulnerable save. The Great Wolf can reroll failed hit rolls for friendly Space Wolf units within 6 inches of Logan Grimnar. Now, this says failed hit rolls, doesn't say in the fight phase or the shooting phase, so just a nice big bubble of rerolling everything. Plus, he's on that giant base now, too, right? So it's just an even bigger bubble, which is awesome.
Thunderwolves love it.
I don't doubt that for a second. Finally, we have the High King of Fenris, where you do not need to take morale tests for friendly Wolf Guard units within 6 inches of Logan Grimnar.
That's correct.
Which, again, kind of brings up the question, why does he have and they show no fear? But you never know. So, alright, so that's the stats on him. What else is he going to have?
So, he has a standard Warlord trait, which is a Saga of the Majesty, which basically, that no morale phase for Wolfguard now basically goes 12 inches, and the entire army that's 12 inches from him basically take no morale checks.
Very nice. Now, you're kind of forced to do that because it is one of the named characters in Warlord traits, so you don't really get to pick what you want to take there, so...
But still helps.
Totally understandable. Also, since he's a named character, he's not going to be able to take any relics of the Fang. But what is your main game plan with this guy?
Basically, run with the Thunderwolves and the Wolfen. Kind of help them, give them rerolls of wands. Try to keep the Hellblasters, maybe some shooting, like up to speed with them if I can, or give them like a reroll. I'm not really too sure how we're going to set it up yet, but he's going to be support for Thunderwolves. That's the primary one.
Yeah, no, and that's super cool right there. On top of that, he also gives that giant bubble of not just rerolling ones, but rerolling all failed to hits. So even if you're hitting on a 3+ or a 4+, you get to reroll all those misses. So the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, whatever's being basically affected there. Obviously, with the rules, modifiers aren't going to get to reroll. So if you're hitting on a 3 and I have a -1, 3s aren't going to get to be rerolled. But yeah, that's okay. It's still going to happen.
But I got that new +1 for their abilities for if they charge.
Oh right, yes,
they get charged. So.
Yeah. So you're going to be able to get the +1 to hit there, which is super good.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to mitigate a few of my little things, mainly my Warlord trait for one of my guys. We'll talk about that when we get to him. But all in all, Logan Grimnar, super cool model. Very happy to see him on the board, and he's kind of like a beatstick support unit, which is really cool right there.
Yeah, he helps other people shine, but he's also himself can knock out entire units.
Well, no does there. One thing we do need to keep in mind is that currently he is a character, so he could be protected by plot armor. The whole characters can't be targeted, except he currently on the Storm Rider has 12 wounds. That does take him above the threshold there. So you got to keep an eye out for him because I might be able to target him with a few long range things. Custodies don't have a lot of crazy long range, but at the same point in time, you're not going to be able to put a blade of wounds in front of him to kind of shut that down. So.
Yeah, enough firepower, and you'll eventually make me fail something.
Hopefully. Alright, so that's it for Logan Grimnar. Moving on now, we're going to take a look at your Wolf Priest.
Wolf Priest.
Yeah, I got that one right. Next up we have the Wolf Priest on bike. Now one thing to note really quickly, this model is not actually in the new Space Wolf Codex, so we have to use the index profile for him. So what does he have?
So his abilities, he has healing bombs, which allows me 3 inches of Space Wolf infantry, biker, or cavalry. I basically give D3 wounds back, as long as someone's wounded. He has Oath of War. He gets a reroll of failed hit rolls in the fight phase. And he also gives 6 inches to anybody that's a friendly Space Wolf model. He has Spiritual Leader. All friendly Space Wolf units within 6 inches of this model in the morale phase basically use his leadership. But if he's next to Logan, it's going to negate that. He has Turbo Boost because he's on a bike, which just gives him 6 inches. And then he has a Wolf Amulet, which gives him a 4+ invul save. He is actually going to take a relic. It's going to be the Armor of Russ, which gives him a 4+ invul. And if he's in a 1 inch of an enemy model within the fight phase, that enemy model does not get to attack until everybody else has attacked.
Which is super cool right there.
Yeah, so I have to nominate him first. His stats real quick. 14-inch movement like a standard bike, 2+ weapon skill, 3+ ballistic skill, strength 4, toughness 5, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, and leadership 9. He has a regular 3+ save.
Alright, and then on top of that you got the relic too, which gives you it's a 3-up invul?
4+ invul.
4+ invul,
yeah.
Alright. And then weapons wise, you obviously have the Crozius Arcanum, which is +1 strength, -1 2 damage, which is kind of cool right there, especially if you get that charge. He's going to be hitting on 2s just permanently, even if there is a -1 modifier. Very handy right there. Yep. Frag and crack grenades, we've seen those a dozen times at least, but a crack grenade is a single shot, strength 6, -1 D3 damage, or your frag grenade, which is D6, strength 3, AP nothing, 1 damage. And on top of that, you're riding a bike, so it's going to have that twin bolt gun, which is the 24-inch range, rapid fire 2, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. He's a super fast model when you consider the fact that he can turbo boost, which means he doesn't have to roll for the run. He's just going to get that extra 6 inches, bumping his movement from 14 to 20.
Oh, yeah.
So he can easily make up almost half the distance of the board width-wise, or length-wise, I guess, depending on how we're deploying, which makes him super fast. And on top of that, he's going to be able to heal everybody, which is going to help your Wolf Riders immensely.
Yeah, it's going to help the Thunderwolves. Logan, probably the main one to heal, probably Logan, because, I mean, he can be targeted now. So that's, I mean, if I was you, I'd shoot for him too.
Oh, probably, because he's just giving out everybody everything they need, right?
Yeah,
So we're probably going to see Logan and this Wolf Priest riding around together. Wolf Priest is just going to be like, no, you're okay, keep going. And Logan's like, you're right, I am okay, I am going to keep going.
Together in perfect harmony.
All right. That's going to conclude the HQ choices that we're going to see in this list. We're going to move on now to the troops and talk about them and where they're going to go. Okay. First thing we're going to take a look at in the troop choice are your Grey Hunters. Now, you've got a couple different things here. We have the option of a Grey Hunter Wolf Pack Leader, Wolf Guard Pack Leader, and a Wolf Guard Terminator Pack Leader. So what do we have in this unit right now?
So right now it's going to be 6 regular Grey Hunters with their bolt guns or bolt pistols. And then there's a special one in there, which he has a plasma gun. And then we have the Pack Leader.
The Grey Hunter Pack Leader?
Grey Hunter Pack Leader. And he has a power sword and then his bolt gun.
Alright, so going over the stats really quick, we're looking at essentially Space Marine stats, movement of 6, weapon skill 3+, strength and toughness 4, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 7, and a 3+ save. The Pack Leader gets an extra attack, and I think that's all he gets, really. There's no bump to the leadership there unless you get into the Wolf Guards. And we've got your bolt guns on everybody, 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. Really, really good right there. Keep in mind these guys are objective secured, so it's going to be very easy to have you hide out on the objectives. It's going to be very difficult for some armies to take that away from you, probably myself, because this unit by itself outnumbers any unit that I'm going to have with my Custodies. On top of that, we've also got, it looks like you have your bolt pistol chainswords. So bolt pistol is a 12-inch range pistol, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage, kind of a shorter range version of the bolt gun. Makes sense, it's a pistol version. And then your chainsword, strength user, AP nothing, 1 damage, but does provide you an additional attack with a weapon, so that means the guys who are rocking them are going to have 2 attacks apiece, which is kind of cool right there. We have a plasma gun, which...
Super pew pew.
Super pew pew. 2 different versions of being able to fire this one. The standard one is a 12-inch range. Oh, sorry, that's the pistol one. Haha. Let's look at the actual plasma gun itself. I was totally looking at the pistol there. The plasma gun is a 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 7, -3, 1 damage. Or you can go ahead and supercharge it to make it strength 8, -3, 2 damage. But on the off chance that you roll a 1 and then re-roll the 1, because you're going to have re-rolls all over the place, that model's going to just kind of blow up. He kills himself. Don't worry, I'm known for doing that quite a bit. So.
Oh, I know. I know.
The abilities that we have on these guys right now, they have Initial Know No Fear. We have mixed units, so you're able to take different things, like you can take the Terminator Pack Leader, you can take the regular guys, so on and so forth. If you decide to take a Terminator, you'd have access to the Storm Shield, giving you a 3+ save, as well as the natural 5+ save that they have, but we have no Terminators in this list, so not really going to come into play there. And we also don't have a Wolf Standard, correct?
No standard.
No, okay, so we're not even going to get into that one there. This is your very typical Space Wolf version of a Space Marine unit.
Yeah.
They're Grey Hunters, which is kind of cool right there. Very, very effective unit for getting on objectives, holding them, and they definitely have the firepower to take out your medium to small infantry models, things like that.
They've surprised me in the past.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second. With access to frag and crack grenades as well, you're definitely able to put the hurt on pretty much whatever you need to.
And everybody has chain swords, except for the leader.
Okay, so they all have chain swords except for the leader, so if I get into combat with them, there's a good chance you're going to cut me down, because each of them is going to have 2 attacks. Hitting on those 3s, unless I charged you, you charged me, yada yada yada, in which case, you're hitting on 2s!
You gotta give it to them.
Oh, that's so good!
They're squishy, so if you give them the extra attack, it's just better.
And then on top of that, what you could do, and again, this is just, theory hammering it out, but if you were to have them walk up with the Wolf Priest, then they can get in combat, they can get charged by combat, whichever you want, but if they pull that bike in there as well, that means they're going to get to attack before the charging unit.
Oh, yeah.
And that is super good.
Oh, yeah.
Super good. So, but that's, again, just your basic infantry unit. We're going to go ahead now and take a look at your Intercessors. Next up for troop choices, we have your Intercessors. So we have the Intercessor and then the Intercessor Pack Leader. These guys have a movement value of 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength and toughness of 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7, and a 3+ armor save. That pack leader getting an extra attack and 1 more leadership, which is kind of cool right there. This unit, just to help me out a little bit here, are we going full WYSIWYG with these guys?
Yeah, what you see is what you get with those guys.
Alright, perfect. So we're going to see a ton of the... Whoop, totally forget what these are. The
Bolt rifle.
Bolt rifles. Thank you. I was like, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So the bolt rifle, 30-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP -1, and 1 damage. Get within 15 inches, not 12, and suddenly you're firing 2 shots apiece. That's kind of deadly right there.
You gotta take that -1.
Oh, absolutely. Now, do you have the grenade launcher on one of those guys?
No, I don't.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to, there was the option of taking a grenade launcher, which means that your frag and crack grenades go from a range of 6 to a range of 30.
Wow.
Which is amazing, but at the same point in time, it's a couple points that you might want to save, so definitely going to save them right there. Intercessors are basically your slightly bigger, slightly heavier, slightly harder to get rid of version of your Grey Hunters, and again, they're going to have the objective secured ability because they are an infantry, they are your troops, so again, they're going to be able to sit on those objectives, camp on them, make it really hard to get rid of them. Again, at this point, I have a feeling that these 3 units, because you have 2 units of them in your army.
Yes, 2 Intercessors.
And then those Grey Hunters are just kind of filling out your auxiliary troop choices for this battalion.
Yeah, you gotta bring them.
Oh, yeah.
They're Space Wolves, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Totally makes sense. One thing I forgot to mention when we were doing the Army Showcase is this is a full battalion detachment, which means you're going to have 8 command points available at the beginning, because it's 5 for the detachment and 3 for being battle forged. And I don't think you're spending any at the beginning, or did you take the extra relic or anything?
I didn't take an extra relic.
All right. So
I only got like 2 characters, so...
Fair. All right. So none being spent at the beginning, but there definitely could be some getting spent during deployment, because you do have a few little tricks that way. So that's it for the troop choices. We've covered the Grey Hunters and the Intercessors. Now let's go ahead and talk about some Hell Blasters. Looking at your heavy supports, we've got some Hail Blasters. Pretty much a staple nowadays in a lot of Space Marine armies, and it's no different here in these Space Wolves. We've got the Hell Blaster and the Hell Blaster Pack Leader. 6-inch move, 3+, 3+, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength and toughness of 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7, and a 3+ save. Identical stat line to the Intercessors. And then your Pack Leader again is getting the extra attack and extra leadership for 3 and leadership of 8. And again, following full WYSIWYG here, you've got some interesting weapons. What are those?
So those are the actual plasma incinerators.
Oh.
And the one squad, the one captain actually has a plasma pistol.
Alright, so the Plasma Incinerator is a 30-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 7, -4, 1 damage apiece weapon, or you can go ahead and supercharge that bad boy to make it rapid fire 1, strength 8, -4, 2 damage. But again, anytime you roll a 1, one of these guys is going to die. Now that hurts a little bit more than having it happen to your Grey Hunters, because these guys are 2 wounds apiece.
Oh yeah, and they're much more expensive than
Oh, no doubt.
than your long fangs.
No doubt whatsoever there.
They're not as squishy.
One thing that's super nice about that is that you do have guys on the board that are going to give you those re-rolling failed hits, so you don't have to worry too much about supercharging it with the negative. I mean, it's like a 1 in 36 chance of rolling a 1 and then another 1. So it does make it a little bit annoying, because that means we have to roll 2 dice separately for each model, but at the same point in time, it's going to make you really happy if you do roll those double 1s.
Yeah.
It's going to make me so happy. You do have 2 units of these guys. They are kitted out with the Incinerators, and then do both sergeants, or just the one sergeant?
Just the one sergeant.
Okay, so just the one sergeant we're looking at right now does have the plasma pistol. It's just a pistol version of the Incinerator, so 12-inch range, pistol 1, strength 7, -3, 1 damage, or overcharge it for strength 8, -3, 2 damage. And again, just don't roll those 1s and you won't be killed.
I hope not.
So, Hell Blasters are stable because they can just punch through pretty much everything, and with the strength of 7 and 8 for their guns, they don't have to worry too much about having to wound pretty much anything. On average, you're going to be wounding on 3s with that strength 7 until you get something up to toughness 7, and I mean, I'm playing Custodies. I'm not going to have any crazy high toughnesses there, so...
With the climate of the game, just having that -4 helps so much.
Oh yeah.
You need a troop unit gone just to get an objective,
Mhm.
and you still have enough guys to take them out. Yeah, it helps out so much.
Especially when you have that 30-inch range, which can almost clear half the board in range. Plus, where they have that 6-inch movement, you've got essentially a 36-inch range threat range. 15 inches with them, they're going to be firing 2 shots apiece. That's incredibly deadly. So, totally understandable why you would have 2 of them in this army. And they're something I'm going to have to worry about, because those can definitely put a hurt on my Custodies. So, going on now, we're going to take a look at your Terminators. Next up, with your elites, we've got some Wolfguard Terminators. So what are we looking at?
So everything's what you see is what you get. We got the pack leader here. He's got a combi plasma with a power fist. We got Wound Boy here. He's basically standard Marine, or standard Terminator. He's basically the one that's going to die first. Storm Bolter, Frost Sword. Then back here is combi plasma, Frost Sword, another combi plasma, Frost Sword, and then Assault Cannon and Frost Sword.
Right on. So going over the stats of a Terminator really quickly, we're looking at Movement 5, Weapon Skill, Blitz Skill 3+, Strength and Toughness 4, 2 Wounds, 2 Attacks, Leadership 8, and a 2+ Armor save. You've also got an Initial No Fear, the Terminator Armor providing a 5-up invulnerable save. We don't have any shields on this unit, so no 3-up armor save.
No.
But what's nice about them is they can be your late game objective grabbers or basically flankers with the ability to do a teleport strike where during deployment you can opt to put them into the teleportarium, which means that they don't get deployed on the board, but anytime at the end of a movement phase, you can go ahead and place them on the board 9 inches away from enemy units, except for the first turn because we are following that rule.
Yep.
So if you do it on the first turn, you are going to land in your own deployment zone. As for the weapons themselves that you're carrying, you've got Storm Bolters on the one.
Storm Bolter on the one, so it's range 24, rapid fire 2, and it's strength 4, minus nothing for AP, and then 1 damage apiece. The Frost Sword is +1 to the strength, -3, and 1 damage. Power Fist is ×2 to the strength, -3, and then D3 damage.
You got to keep in mind with that, it is -1 to hit, so you're going to really try and get those charges off to get the +1 for that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or if you charge me.
Or if I charge you, yeah.
But first round of combat, I got to make sure it's either dead or it's about to die. And then, let's see here.
You got your combi weapons on them, it looks like?
Yeah, combi plasma. So it's standard plasma. Range 24, rapid fire 1. Strength 7, -3. 1 damage. If I supercharge it, same thing, range 24. Rapid fire 1. Strength 8, -3, 2 damage. And then, of course, it's got the bolt gun. So if I decide to shoot the bolt guns, range 24, rapid fire 1. 4 strength, no AP, 1 damage apiece.
Now, one thing you need to keep in mind for this is if you do decide to supercharge it and fire both profiles, it's going to be at -1. So if you roll a 1 or 2, that's going to be a dead Terminator.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And then the Assault Cannon, range 24, it's a heavy 6, strength 6, -1, 1 damage.
Now, what's neat about this unit is that you're able to actually use one of the stratagems that you have here called Lone Wolf. It's 1 command point, and use the stratagem at the end of any phase where there's a Space Wolf infantry unit in your army other than a character or a servitor or wolfen. If it's been reduced to a single model, that model's wounds characteristic is increased by 2, and it gains those 2 wounds. In addition, this model gets the character keyword and can reroll failed hit and wound rolls for the remainder of the game. So basically, if you get down to 1, it's 1 command point, he suddenly becomes a character, and absolutely terrifying, which would be really, really cool depending on what you want to put on, because you've also got the Assault Cannon on him too, right?
Yeah.
So the Assault Cannon is a...
Heavy 6.
Thank you. I was like, I don't know where the Assault Cannon is on here. So yeah, it's a 24-inch range, heavy 6, strength 6, -1, 1 damage.
Yep.
And getting the ability to re-roll the hits on that would be really, really cool for it as well. So, very...
It's wounds.
Yeah, very neat little unit right there. All in all, it's your typical Terminator unit. It just has a couple neat little tricks on its sleeve with the combi, the Frost Swords?
Frost Swords.
That's what, I got it. I remembered. And then the ability to go Lone Wolf at the end, so it could be a little bit harder for me to kill the unit, which will definitely come into play for something like this if we're going for tertiary points. If I manage to get you down to 1 unit, and then it's like, okay, well, I can guarantee to kill this unit next turn. You spend the command point, turn him into a character, suddenly I can't target him anymore, and I have to fight something bigger. So that's a nice sort of way to kind of potentially mess me out of getting a point.
Oh, yeah.
So, super good right there. Moving on now from the Wolfguard Terminators, we've got your... Do you want to do the Wolfen next?
Yeah, we'll do the Wolfen.
All right. Wolfen for Wolfening. So, here we've got a unit of 6. We got 5 Wolfen and a Wolfen Pack Leader. Almost messed that one up. Moving to 7. Weapon Skill 3+, Blitz Skill 5+, Strength 5, Toughness 4, 2 wounds apiece, 3 attacks, Leadership 7, and a 4+ save. The Wolfpack Leader gets 1 extra attack. Yeah, just 1 extra attack.
Just 1.
All right, so they have each Wolfen has its Wolfen claws, and the Wolfpack Leader is armed with Frost Claws, which is kind of cool right there. All right, what'd you kit these guys out with?
So 3 of them have... So obviously the Pack Leader has his Frost Claws, and then there's 2 other guys that have their Frost Claws, which if you have it, each time the bearer fights, they get to make 1 additional attack with those, and they get to reroll their failed wounds. Frost Claws are +1 to their strength, and they're already strength 5, so it makes them strength 6. -2 AP, 1 damage apiece. And then they get to, like I said, reroll their wounds. The other guys are just basic wolfing claws, teeth and claws essentially. Strength of the user, which they're strength 5, -1 AP, and then damage is just 1.
All right. So getting those frost claws giving you the +1's got to put you up to strength 6, which will be really good when you have to deal with my bikes because they are toughness 6.
Yep.
So it's going to give you a little bit of a mitigation there. It's also very rare to see something that's going to be able to, as a unit, and I say as a unit, I mean like as a whole, being able to wound Custodies on 3s, which is what most of these guys are going to be able to do with those frost claws. Now you got a ton of different special abilities for these guys, so what are we looking at here? I know they have a They Shall Know No Fear, but what else have they got?
So they have Bounding Lobe, so they can run and advance and basically charge. They also have a, I believe 4+ invul or 5+ feel no pain. Yeah, so they have a 5+ feel no pain. If they're slain in the fight phase or if they're in close combat, they basically move up, attack again, and then are removed, even if they've already attacked. They have the Curse of the Wolfen on them, which basically affects Space Wolf Infantry, Bikers, Cavalry within 6 inches of that unit at the start of the charge phase. The range ability is 12 inches for Blood Claws, and they get to reroll their failed charges. Curse of the Wolfen is actually if you're already in close combat, you can make 1 additional attack, and that affects Space Wolf Infantry, Bikers, and Cavalry within 6 inches of the Wolfen. And if you're a Blood Claw, it affects them 12 inches. Wolfen can never be affected by their own ability.
All right. And on top of that, you didn't bring any Storm Shields, but they do have the option of taking them as well, giving them that 3-up and
yes.
invulnerable save, which is quite nice right there.
And their Great Axe, which is pretty gnarly too, a 3+.
Oh yeah, getting them up to strength 8.
Oh yeah,
that's
minus
cool.
3 and then D3 damage. Yeah,
jeez. Now again, these guys are going to get the benefit of just being spaceful, so when they charge in or are charged, they're going to be hitting on 2s with all their attacks, which is terrifying, because these are going to tear through pretty much anything that I have. And they're kind of a staple nowadays in Space Wolf armies, are they not?
They are. A lot of people love them just for the fact that, hey, oh, you killed this guy, well, he's going to attack you. Or if I charge in, do all my attacks, and then you charge back and smush a couple, okay, well, now they get to attack you back.
Yeah. And again, that's from the ability called Death Frenzy, where it also gives you the 5-up ignoring wounds, which is quite nice right there.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, that's it for the Wolfen. We're going to move on now to the last unit in the fast attack. Lastly, in your army, we're looking at the Thunderhoof Cavalry. So what do we got?
So, Thunderhoof Cavalry, it's, again, WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. This squad has 2 hammers, 2 frost swords, a chainsword, everybody with storm shields. The other squad is basically the same except for the chainsword guy. He just has his pistol. He left his shield at home. These guys are movement 10, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds apiece. The regular cavalry get 2 attacks, the pack leader gets 3 attacks, and their leadership 8 with 3+. Then once these guys have done all their attacks, their dogs actually get to move up and attack, and they get 3 attacks at strength 5, -1, 1 damage apiece.
Wow, that's
a
a
lot
ton
of
of attacks. All right, and we were looking at nothing but swords and shields for most of them, and then the one guy's got the hammer?
2 guys have hammers.
2 guys have hammers. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that one there. All right. And so the shield's providing you with a 3-up invulnerable save. The hammer's making you strength ×2, AP minus a lot, damage D3 at -1 to hit, which if you charge, you're going to be able to ignore that.
Damage is 3, and Storm Shield is... Or I'm sorry, it's ×2 for the Thunder Hammer, -3, 3 damage apiece, and then Frost Sword is +1 to their strength, -3, 1 damage apiece. So
Holy.
they're built for, hey, I got to get in close combat and take out whatever needs to get taken out.
Absolutely. And with that 10-inch move, it's not going to be very difficult for you to do that. So I can actually picture these guys running up with Logan and just ripping through pretty much everything they need to, because he's going to give that re-rolling fail to hit.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's going to get gross. There's nothing I can do to morale try and get rid of you, and that's going to be my prime unit. I have to get rid of those, because they're what's going to tear through my Custodies. So there we go. That is all of Nick's Space Wolves in detail. What is your general strategy here as we're going to be going into the Nova Open mission number 4?
Troops are going to have to get, obviously, the objectives. I got to keep Logan and the Wolf Priest together and keep him with the Thunderwolf packs and the the Wolfen. They got to charge first. They got to be the spearhead into your front lines. Hopefully the troops can stay in range and just shoot over top of their heads so we can hurt you in some sense.
Do some sort of damage, absolutely. Yeah. So we are going into round 4 for the 2017 Nova Open Pack, which is going to be Hordes and Heroes. And the way this works is we have the 2 different deployment types. We either have Search and Destroy or Vanguard Strike. I think you and I are just going to agree right now we're going to do Search and Destroy, just to make life a lot easier for us.
Okay.
And objectives-wise, we're going to place 4 objectives on the table in each of the table quarters. And the way we can either score points is by destroying destroying more of your opponent's units than they destroyed of yours. You're going to score 3 points. Destroy at least 50% of your opponent's total unit count is 3 points, and at the end of the game, control more objectives than your opponent. That is another 3 points. Now that's the first mission that we can get right there. That is the end game style. So as we've been seeing with the Nova Open, they either give you one where it's all your points are scored at the end of the game, or you can score them progressively as you go through the game. So primary mission option number 2 is destroy more of your opponent's point value than they destroyed of yours. Is 3 points, which is a little weird. That's something we're going to get at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Then we have destroy at least 50% of your opponent's total point value, an additional 3 points. And then at the start of your turns 2 through 6, if you control more objectives than your opponent, you score 1 point to a maximum of 3. So that's kind of where they threw that progressive option in there, where if you're on the objectives and you hold more than your opponent as the turns go on, you're going to be able to get it. Looking at that right now, it's not going to change anything about what I'm going to be doing, but which option do you think you would probably want to go for with this army, considering that you are super fast, super mobile, and super killy? My thought process would probably be that you'd want to go with option number 2, because my army's not going to have a huge model count, but my total point values for everything is going to be off the charts.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
So mission option number 2 is probably going to be what you're going to go for, because, again, I don't have a whole lot of models in my army, which we'll see in a second, whereas for me, I'm probably going to be taking option number 1, where I'm going to try and kill more units of yours than points, because, well, you're going to have a lot more units than I do. And it just kind of makes sense. And on top of that, your army's going to be a lot more mobile than mine is. I'm only going to have a few things that are going to be able to move rather fast. Everything else is going to be foot slogging it. Whereas the majority movement for a lot of your stuff here, we're looking at movement 7, movement 10, 14, 20. If you want a turbo boost with the Wolf Priest right there, you got your Terminators that can deep strike in and land on objectives late game. If you decide that you're doing pretty good on the killing part, those Terminators are going to jump in and land on the objective at the end and score you that guaranteed more objectives points than I have to get you the 3 points at the end if you are taking primary mission number 1, but you're going to be taking number 2, which means you're still going to be able to get on those objectives because of your speed, push me off of them because of my low model count, and then those Terminators can kind of camp somewhere and just fire tons and tons of firepower at me if that's something you'd be wanting to do, which I think with the shooting power that they have, probably a more viable option in the long run, considering your Thunderhoof Cavalry are going to be the ones getting into combat and just messing up my day.
Yeah, it's going to be a slugfest when we get in close combat, because your guys are nothing to, no pun intended, bark about.
I like that.
But it's gonna be pretty bloody.
All right. Well, we've gone ahead now. We've seen the Space Wolves. Let's go ahead and check out the Talons of the Emperor, his own personal bodyguard, the Custodies. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Custodies army that I've brought. Kind of a little bit smaller than what Nick has.
Just a wee bit.
Just a tiny bit smaller, but definitely as deadly. I think so anyway. In my army, I've got 2 shield captains on Daniell Jet Bikes, and I've got Vallauris, 4 units of Custodian Guard, and then 2 of the Vexillas walking around with their banners. So now we're going to take a minute to get nice and close and talk about what they all do. Starting off, we've got Captain General Trajan Vallauris. That's quite the title right there. Actually fills up a good chunk of this page. He has a movement value of 6 inches, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 5, 7 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 10, and a 2+ armor save. He is equipped with the Watcher's Axe and a Misericordia. The Watcher's Axe has a firing profile as well as a melee profile, because it's just an axe with a gun strapped on it. Nick's just shaking his head over like, no.
Cheaters.
No, this is dumb. So, the Watcher's Axe shooting profile is a 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 5, -1, 2 damage gun. And in close combat, it is strength ×2, -3 AP, and D3 damage. So he's walking around at strength 10, -3, D3 damage. No modifiers to hit. Super good right there. Also has the Misericordia, which is a strength user, so strength 5, AP -2, 1 damage weapon. And each time he fights, he can make 1 additional attack with this weapon, unless he's equipped with a Storm Shield. But he can't take any other options, so he's kind of stuck with that weapon right there. Abilities that he has. First off, we have Aegis of the Empire. Empire. I saw a Star Wars shirt, so that's my excuse. It is one of the abilities for the Army of Terra, which is what my entire army gets, meaning that this model has a 5-up invulnerable save, and in addition, I get to roll a d6 every time I suffer a mortal wound in the psychic phase, and on the result of a 6, that wound is ignored. I don't think you have anything that's going to happen in the psychic phase, so that's just an ability that's not really going to help me out too much. And that 5-up invulnerable save is about to get completely beaten down by the Aramite Halo, which gives him a 3-up invulnerable save. He's a legendary commander, which means you can re-roll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 made by friendly Adeptus Custodies units within 6 inches. And then he also has Moment Shackle, where once per battle, if Trajan Vallauris is on the battlefield, I can do one of the following. I can either regenerate D3 wounds lost during that phase, and I can't do it if during an attack or if he dies. So, can't do it in the fight phase if he's being attacked, and I can't do it if he dies at any point. So that's kind of annoying right there. The other option I have is at the end of the fight phase, I can pile in and attack with him an additional time. So he's got another 5 attacks at strength 10, hitting on 2s, re-rolling, wounding on probably 2s, re-rolling, which is quite nice. And the last option I have here is to regain up to D3 command points spent when you use a stratagem, but no more than what was spent on the stratagem itself. Not gonna lie, that's probably what I'm gonna use, and I'm probably gonna burn through it rather quickly during the deployment phase, because there's a couple things that I want to do during the deployment phase for him. His main purpose here, run around with that Watcher's Axe, try and cut through something, like, I don't know, your big guy right there on the chariot. I don't know if he'd be able to survive a onslaught of attacks from Vallauris.
Negative.
Maybe. He might.
Fenris will endure.
Alright, fine, if you say so. The other thing he's going to be doing is trying to get me back those command points, because they are very vital for this army to have command points, which is kind of difficult, because they're super expensive and it's hard to get multiple battalions. But this is a battalion, giving me a total of 8 command points at the beginning, and I am going to spend one right off the hop to get myself an extra relic, which we'll talk about right now. We've got one of my 2 shield captain on Daniell Jet Bikes. The Daniell Jet Bike is a jet bike that gives him a 14-inch move. He's going to have a weapon skill plus skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 6, 7 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2+ armor save. Yeah, he's super tough.
Wow.
The Daniell Jet Bike is a single model armed with the Interceptor Lance, and it also has a Hurricane Bolter. I went ahead and switched out that Hurricane Bolter for a Salvo Launcher, which is kind of neat right there. The Salvo Launcher has 2 different firing modes. One is a Melt-A-Missile. It's 24-inch range, heavy 1, strength 8, -4, d6 damage, and I can reroll failed wound rolls with this weapon if it targets a vehicle. The other one is the Flak Burst Missile, which is a heavy d3, 24-inch range, strength 7, -1, d3 damage, and I can add one to the hit rolls for this weapon made against targets that can fly. I do have to subtract one from the hit rolls if this target targets anything else. So, do you have anything that flies?
I don't know if Logan's chariot.
I think Logan's chariot flies. Does it fly?
It says vehicle,
But no fly?
no fly.
Oh, that might be a...
It slides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's like Santa.
Yes.
Okay.
Santa Grimnar.
Also with that Interceptor Lance, it is a melee weapon that gives him +1 strength, putting him up to strength 6, -3 AP, and D3 damage. I can also reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon in a turn in which the bearer made a successful charge. Mwah! Mwah! So, yeah. I got abilities for days, man. I also have Ages of the Emperor. Inspirational Fighter. I can reroll hit rolls of 1 made for the Adeptus Custodies units within 6 inches of this model. That's going to apply to shooting and close combat. Also has Implacable Vanguard, where when this model advances, it automatically goes 6 inches. So he's also got a movement of 20 if I decide to advance with him. Went ahead and made this guy my Warlord, giving him the Warlord trait Radiant Mantle, giving him a static -1 to hit. So that's -1 from shooting and close combat. And I also went ahead and gave him the relic, and I always mess up the name of this relic, but I'm going to try my best here. It is called the Auric Aquilus, where it's only available to biker units, but it gives this model a 3+ invulnerable save and the ability to reroll failed charge rolls. That's kind of cool right there.
Nice.
Now I do have 2 of these in my army, so the second one's going to be equipped the exact same way with the salvo launchers and all the missiles and everything like that. Obviously not my Warlord, but I'm going to spend the command point to give him another relic, and that relic is going to be Eagle's Eye, which is kind of funny because the model itself doesn't have a head.
I was going to say, you should spend a command point to give him a head.
It's so funny. Well, let's see how you feel about this one. I improved this model's invulnerable save by 1, making it a 3+ invulnerable save.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's kind of weird because, well, the Shield Captain doesn't have an invulnerable save, but he is part of the Custodies, which gives him a 5-up invulnerable save. Now, since my entire army is Custodies, it means that they're all going to get access to the Acrylic Moralis, which gives me a couple different abilities. First off, Sworn Guardians makes it so that all of my infantry, bikes, and adeptus in this detachment gain the objective secured ability. It also means that I can improve the invulnerable save of all the units in the army by 1. So as a whole, my army is going to have a 4-up invulnerable save minimum. So, haha.
Tough little army.
Haha, haha. That's going to be it for my HQ. Let's go ahead and talk about my troops. For my troop choices, I have 4 of these units. They are all exactly the same, and they're my Custodian Guard. Custodian Guard have a movement value of 6 inches, weapon skill plus skill 2+, strength and toughness 5, 3 wounds apiece, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a 2+ armor save. I went ahead and kitted 3 of them out with the Guardian Spears, and 2 of them are equipped with the Sentinel Blades and a, is it the Storm Shield? Yes, and a Storm Shield. So, the Guardian Spear's shooting profile is a 24-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage apiece, super bolters. And then the Sentinel Blade itself has a strength 4, it's a pistol 2, 12-inch range, strength 4, AP nothing, 1 damage. The Guardian Spear in melee is strength +1, AP -3, D3 damage, so it's going to be strength 6 when they fight. And the Sentinel Blades are going to be strength users, so strength 5, -3, D3 damage. Each of the guys that are currently walking around with the Guardian Spears also have a Misericordia, giving them an additional attack at strength 5, -2, 1 damage. The 2 guys in each unit that are equipped with the Sentinel Blades and Storm Shields are going to have a 3+ invulnerable save. The reason I do that is that I have about 6 wounds per unit that have that 3-up invul to try and keep them alive a little bit longer. But these are my foot slogging, objective grabbing, killing, fighting, tanking, pretty much all around troop units. They are incredibly expensive.
I thought you were channeling Ric Flair there for a second.
They are incredibly expensive, and like I said before, you're probably going to want to go for the power level option. Now, a unit of 3 of them have a power level of 8, and I have to increase it by 3 per model. So that means each one of these units is a power level 14.
Holy moly.
So each one of them you kill is going to get you a ton of points, which is kind of scary right there. That's going to be it for my troop choices. One last unit to show off, and that is going to be the... Oh, I forget what they're called off the top of my head. These are the Vexillus Praetors. Lastly, we have the Vexillus Praetors. Movement value 6, weapon skill plus skill 2+, strength and toughness 5, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2+ armor save. This model right here is walking around with a Custodies Vexilla, as well as a Storm Shield, so he's going to have that 3-up invulnerable save. I'm trying to keep him alive a little bit there. The main reason I'm bringing him is because with the Custodies Vexilla, I'm able to take one of the 3 options available, and I'm going to be taking the Vexillus Magnifica, where your opponent must subtract 1 from hit rolls in the shooting phase for attacks that target Adeptus Custodies units within 6 inches of this model. Ouch. I have 2 of them.
Ouch.
So any of my guys that you want to shoot at that are within 6 inches is -1. If you want to try and shoot at my Warlord, he's going to be -2 to hit, because that's going to stack with his Warlord trait.
And that's just shooting phase.
That's just shooting. In melee, he's just naturally -1.
Okay.
So that's going to be my army. It's in its entirety. There we go. Second time's a charm. Mm-hmm. All in all, you kind of get the gist of what they do. They kind of break up around the banners to give them the -1, foot slog it across the board, tank it as much as I can with the Storm Shields, and then try and punch whatever I can to death. It's going to be a little bit difficult, because most of your stuff can outpace me, and the things that can keep up with you, mostly my 2 Daniell Jet Bikes, probably won't survive combat with your Thunderhoof Cavalry. Because, yeah, I'm able to throw a ton of attacks at you, but your attacks back can probably kill me with 2 or 3 hits. So, a little bit terrifying right there. I mean, your hammers do 3 damage apiece, right? Mm-hmm. So it's 3 damage apiece. You're going to be -2 to hit my 1 Warlord. But still, if any of those hits go through...
I'll actually really be -1.
Oh, that's right.
At least on the first turn. Whoever charged it, or if I charge in that first turn.
Yeah. Wait, but the hammers aren't you naturally -1?
Naturally -1.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, yeah, you should just naturally be -1 all the way through. That's annoying. That's super annoying. So you've kind of countered my 1 little Warlord trait right there. But that's pretty much what everything does here. I'm going to be taking the first objective, where at the end of the game, if I'm holding at least more objectives than you are, then I'm going to score 3 points, and I'm also going to take the one more. If I kill more units than you kill, then I'm going to score, because, yeah, I might have... less models than you, so it's going to be easier for me to kind of kill more than you kill of mine.
Sense, yeah.
But your power level is a lot lower than mine. Or yeah, it's a lot lower than mine, so I'm not going to be able to outpace you on that. 'Cause I think 2 or 3 of your units is the equivalent of 1 of mine, because I'm 14 and your guys are what?
Yeah.
7 base for your basic infantry.
Yeah, Logan right now is just 10.
Oh,
10 power
jeez.
level himself.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking primary mission number 1. So that's going to be it, guys. This is it for the breakdown. You got an idea of what we're bringing. We're going to see some new Space Wolves going into combat here. We're going to be playing again in the Nova Open mission packet from 2017. We're doing the final mission here. So go ahead, guys. Click that link below to see the battle take place. 2,000 points, Adeptus Custodies versus Space Wolves. If you're not already a Vault member, go ahead and click that link anyway. You'll get access to a 7-day free trial where you can see this battle and kind of see how my plans are going to plan out. See if your theory, Nick, is going to be able to work properly. We'll figure it out right there. So
What could fail?
Oh,
Smash stuff with hammers.
Or shoot it with plasma.
Ah!
Overcharge it with plasma. Just
No.
overcharge. Overcharge for days.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the vault. And as always, happy wargaming.